Our friends at Heavy Seas are out to prove there is a barrel-aged beer for every season. Good. Andy, what are you wearing?
I'm prepared for every season.
Looks like what you wear every day.
I'm bringing sexy back. All right, everybody, welcome back to 21090. I am Andy, this is Todd, and today we are out to show you that yes, you can have a good barrel-aged beer from every season, and nobody better to spotlight that than our good friends over at Heavy Seas.
No doubt.
So we got 4 really good bourbon barrel-aged beers to spotlight today. That's going to culminate with a brand new release that they do annually that's just fantastic in years past. We can't wait to try this one.
Yeah.
Todd, tell us a little bit about each one.
Yeah, so we got first off in the, springtime, February, March, every year they put out Blackbeard's Breakfast, which is a coffee porter. Amazing. Then in the summertime around June, they released Red Flag, which is a Flanders Red.
Cool. Can't wait to try that one.
Yeah, awesome. And then in the fall, they're really known for this one. Their Greater Pumpkin, their pumpkin ale aged in bourbon barrels. Really good. And then something that Andy just said, just released within the last few days, their chocolate imperial stout, Siren Noire. It is amazing. We've had this before.
Look forward to it.
And that just comes out every November around. Yep. So that's
let's start in the spring. The weather's starting to warm up, but there's still a nip in the air. Nothing better than a little Blackbeard's Breakfast.
Sounds good to me. Let's go.
Blackbeard's Breakfast, always a hit. I love this. I've had this before. And I just love the big, bold, roasty flavors that come off of this. Obviously, a nice springtime sipper as those mornings are a little bit chilly.
Oh, yeah.
Tell us a little bit more about the beer.
Yeah, every, I guess, February, March, early spring, this comes out, late winter. It is your imperial coffee porter, basically. It's got tons of Sumatra coffee from Chesapeake Bay Roasting Company. And then aged in bourbon barrels. It's a perfect sort
You
of
got those
porter.
English malts that they like to use, and you can see this is dark as it can get.
Yeah, and yeah, great color.
The nose very reminiscent of some of those bigger bourbon barrel aged beers that you try, like a BCS, something like that. You really get that bourbon note kicking off of there.
Yep. Cheers.
All right,
let's go in for the pour. Yeah.
Bourbon really comes through there.
Real nice bourbon.
I like that.
Coffee finish, as you would expect. They do a ton of coffee, that Sumatra coffee. That complex roasty notes with the bourbon goes really well.
The caramel toffee kind of flavor that rounds it out. You get the sweetness from that char.
Yep, it's really good.
That's a pretty
amazing
beer.
Great Sunday morning beer right there.
Sunday morning sipper.
1 for 1.
1 for 1. Now, how does this work if we move into summer?
Let's check it out.
Let's find out.
All right.
All right, so summertime, we're moving into the warmer weather, and sours are all the rage. Belgian sours are kind of where it all started.
Yeah.
And so this is a red Flanders style ale.
Yep.
And the real difference in the Flanders style is basically that this is from West Flanders in Belgium.
Yep.
And that this is aged in barrels from like 8 to 18 months. Yeah. And the bacteria is added in the secondary, which is kind of cool. So that's what kind of separates this from our traditional Belgian sour. Todd, tell us a little bit more. Yeah,
I've never had a Flemish sort of red, but they get the red color from a lot of red malts they use. Heavy Seas used a ton of caramel malts, like dark, medium, and extra dark. So that's how you get that reddish hue. They use 6 batches of their sour ale and then blended it in multiple barrels and then finished it in red wine barrels.
Yeah, this is not an easy process.
Beer here.
So we should expect, yes, the traditional sour flavors come through. There's a lot of other notes you're going to get from the charred barrels and from just some of the different malts they're using.
Beautiful.
It's a really pretty color.
Beautiful color. Cheers.
Smell that, huh?
So it's interesting. I don't get this sort of overwhelming sour.
No, you get it undertones of the sour, but you do get the bourbon as well, which I like. And you might even get a little bit of that. Yeah, gotta remember. I can see a little bit of that wine in there as well.
Yeah.
Let's taste this.
Let's get into it. Cheers. Well, that's really weird. Not weird. Interesting. That's really cool.
If weird is code for, I love this. This is phenomenal.
I agree.
I am all about
Wow.
Any sour aged in barrels is right up my, whether it's wine barrels, rum barrels, bourbon barrels. I love, because I think sours on their own can sometimes just be dull. And I feel like the barrel aging process adds so much to a sour. I've never had
beer.
Well, I've never had a Flanders Red Ale before. This is my introduction. I'd love to try another because this is fantastic.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. I was expecting more of the sour notes to come through, but you taste some of the malt backbone to this. All those caramels. You taste the barrel, the red wine component. There's a lot going on here.
I feel like a person who doesn't love sours might still be able to get behind this. And a person who loves sours is still going to enjoy this because you get enough of it to say, yep, I'm still drinking a sour. But it's not, typically sours are let's throw a lot of fruit in it to offset it, or let's throw some lactose and try to sweeten it up. This
gets 3.67 on Untapped.
That's a crying shame.
Yeah, Blackbeard's breakfast had 4.03.
Well,
this is the style of beer, you got to remember, this is an extremely difficult beer to brew and pull off. I love it.
You're a sour fan. I like them, but they're not my go-to. But this, any day of the week.
There you go.
Any day of the week. So put it out again next year. Because, man, this is great. And if you can find it out there in the stores, grab it.
Grab it.
All right, 2 for 2.
Let's go on to the next one.
Love it. All right, so fall is here.
Ooh.
And pumpkin beer is obviously all the rage. Hard to get right. I brew a good one. Famous pour some pumpkin on me every year.
Some on tap right there.
Yeah, but I'll tell you, it's all about getting the spices right.
Yes.
And I've even had a couple now that some breweries are doing this in bourbon barrels, like Heavy Seas is with the Greater Pumpkin. And honestly, they are hit and miss. Sometimes I feel like something like the Warlock, which is a stout with the pumpkin stout I feel like that plays a little better because those roasting notes in the bourbon barrels complement each other with the spices.
Yeah.
Ales are hard to get right, but let's see if Heavy Seas can make it happen.
Yeah, I've had this before. I like it a lot. Again, this is...
You're getting the... Yeah. So I'll tell you right now, the bourbon's not kicking on the nose. This is all pumpkin spice.
It smells like pumpkin pie.
You get your nutmeg, your cloves, your cinnamon kind of kicking on this.
Pour some pumpkin on me.
It does.
Cheers.
All right.
Oh, it smells delicious.
That's nice.
It is nice.
Bourbon really, really subtle.
It is subtle. It is really subtle.
And actually, that might play to its favor on this because
really subtle.
Maybe the bourbon could overwhelm some of those traditional. Because I've tried some that I think the bourbon overwhelmed the nuances of the spices. This is balanced really well for an ale. I really like it.
It is. I'm getting a touch of an alcohol though. Are you at all on the finish? I was expecting more of a bourbon alcohol. I'm almost like a heat a little bit.
I don't get much heat on this.
No? I don't know what it is. It's the finish.
The finish is not heavy at all. It's a very light finish.
Maybe that's what's throwing me off.
So
I mean, it's a pumpkin ale.
Sometimes
so
they talk about the
it's great.
How it kind of can dance on your tongue for a long time. This dissipates pretty quick.
Yeah, it's gone. I want another sip.
But yeah, it makes you come back and take another and another.
Beer. I mean,
for 10%, it's dangerous because there's not a lot of viscosity on this. This is.
Yeah, the nose goes really good with.
But I think it's balanced really well for an ale.
Yeah, I mean, I would love to see what more bourbon would do in the flavor. How would that impact this
overall?
It'd be
interesting to see because the spice component's perfect.
Yeah, it is. That's the thing. That's
some people it's like way too sweet if you overdo it, and some people it's like I just need a little bit more. I think from a spicing standpoint, it's fine. If you're looking for a big bourbon hitter, this isn't it.
No.
But for just a really nice sipping pumpkin ale.
Bourbon barrel aged pumpkin ale. Yeah, that sounds good.
I like it.
All right, one more to go.
Winter is coming. All right, so just released a few days ago. Always popular. We look forward to this release every year. This is kind of the quintessential bourbon aged beer, if you ask me, from the state of Maryland, the Siren Noire. So excited. Our first sip of this for the 2019 season. Todd, tell us a little bit about it.
Yeah, I mean, so this is your quintessential chocolate bourbon barrel aged stout. When we were talking about doing this month long of bourbon barrel aged beers, we said we need something from Maryland. Well, the first thing we thought of was Siren Noire. It has been going around for years now. They've put it in bourbon barrels. It's a beautiful chocolate stout, and then infused with those bourbon barrels, plays really well.
I like it.
Plays really well.
I like it a lot.
I like it a lot. So this just came out this past Friday. So it's out right now in everywhere Heavy Seas is distributed. A lot of stuff we do with them is their 15-barrel program.
Yep.
This beer is everywhere.
It's forever, so get your hands on it if you can.
Yeah, there it is.
We haven't even sampled it yet.
We haven't sampled it.
Grab it.
We know it's good.
Is good.
Look at that beautiful beer. Nice and...
You can smell the chocolate right there up
So
front.
it's that dark chocolate. They use Belgian cacao nibs in it, vanilla, Madagascar beans in it, and then, of course, not a ton of...
No. And
there's a little bit of bourbon in that smell, too.
A little bit, but there's a lot of notes
Chocolate.
playing together, which is nice.
It's really nice.
All right, let's
Cheers. Oh, my gosh.
That's pretty. Yep.
Oh, mouth feels amazing.
Yep.
Silky smooth.
Yeah, and you know how I told you the viscosity was low on that pumpkin ale, which is to be expected. But this is thick and chewy and just kind of...
It's just laying on your tongue now.
It just lays there for a while.
Lays on your tongue.
Real pretty finish. You do get a hit of that bourbon, which is nice, but it's not the predominant player because there's a lot of things going on here.
I mean...
This is another one that I'd say age it.
Yeah,
try it out.
You can age it
because this has so many complex flavors playing together that it's nice to see what happens with a little bit of aging. But it's also good to grab it fresh out of the bottle.
Yeah, because that chocolate is really that dark chocolate goes so well
pretty
with the roasty notes that go into a stout. Finished with the bourbon, it's balanced really well. That's the good thing here. It's not overly bourbon. It's not overly chocolate. It's not overly roasty. It's all together. Fantastic. What is this? A 9% beer?
9.5.
Give me a break.
Drinks a lot.
It gets 4.02 on Tapped. That's certainly warranted.
Yeah, it's good
certainly
stuff.
Warranted.
All right, so we've gone through the seasons of barrel-aged beers. Thank you, Heavy Seas, because they're all fantastic.
Yes.
But let's rank them. Let's see how close we get to each other.
All right, let's go. I know already what I have.
All right, so what's your number 4?
My number 4 is the Greater Pumpkin.
Okay.
So for me, the Greater Pumpkin, it's a good pumpkin ale. But we're talking about bourbon barrel-aged beers, and the bourbon didn't really come through there on that. Standalone, I think it's great, but compared to the other 4 or 3, that was my number 4.
I actually can't argue with that at all, and I don't have anything to add. I think for me, I'm also the Greater Pumpkin for those same reasons. All right, number 3.
My number 3 is going to be the Blackbeards.
Okay.
Blackbeards. Now, this is where it ggets hard, because I love all 4 of them, but the 3, they're very close to me. They're in different ways. I like chocolate better than coffee. That's the short of it. Siren Noire is a chocolate. The Flanders is a different beer, but to me, it was great, but not as good as the other 2.
So I'm really scared here because we've never, ever matched.
We haven't talked about this.
No, we
haven't. This is on the cusp right here.
I also am going Blackbeards for number 3, and I'm going to go on a limb, even though I know you're a sour person, I'm going Red Flag number 2.
That's what I'm going with, too. That's what I'm going with.
We are going to go unanimously across 40. This has never happened before.
Never happened. We have different palates.
Let me tell you, if we didn't like the Siren Noire so much, and I got to tell you, it's a favorite, and so this is going to be our number 1 beer because it's just fantastic. Go grab some now. But the Red Flag, if you can find it, it was number 2 for all the right reasons. It stands out in a field of crowded right now sours, where to the point where sometimes they're overplayed. Everybody's got 1 or 2, and they rotate. And the Red Flag was beautiful.
I've actually seen it locally here in Maryland. It's still on the shelves in some places.
Yeah, in fact, we need to grab a couple more.
I look past it myself. Not anymore.
It was just phenomenal. But yeah, number 1, Siren Noire, just dropped.
So why is it, Andy? Why isn't it your number 1? I guarantee it's the same as mine.
Well, because it has everything I want.
Yeah.
I want a little bourbon, and I get a little bit of bourbon. I want some of those chocolate notes and roasty notes. I get them. I want a touch of the sweetness. You get a little bit of the char from the barrels. Like there's all kinds of things playing here. But it balances well, where you're not saying all I get is bourbon or all I get is chocolate. Yeah. And so many barrel-aged beers are hard to get that balance right.
Yes.
And they just do it. They do a great job with it. So, like we said, there's a reason this is what we consider to be the best barrel-aged beer in the state of Maryland.
Yeah.
And there are some good ones out there. And if we're wrong, tell us. You can comment below, but we're not wrong.
Not in our minds.
So, but yeah, this has been great. So we hope you enjoy the tour through the 4 seasons here
in Maryland,
in the Old Line State. More stuff coming this month. We're loaded with bourbon barrel aged goodness.
We got a lot of good things coming, so stay tuned. That's all I can say.
Stay tuned. But Heavy Seas, thank you. Always great working with you, and we love the beers that you guys are putting out. Chris Leonard's team, top notch. If you like what you see from 21090, speaking of top notch,
There you go.
click
I like that.
bell in the corner and hit subscribe. It's going to let you know every time we got a brand new video coming out. We've got Instagram, Twitter, and of course we've got these ranked on Untapped. You can see what we thought of them. Stay tuned. More coming. And cheers, my friends.
Cheers, everybody. Oh, I love Barrel Age Month.
I know you do.
There we go. Cheers.